What's going on, guys? So yesterday was the day that I broke my trans. Talking with some of my buddies and what we wanted to do, if I wanted to pull it out. I wasn't 100% sure if the trans was broken, but I was pretty confident just from the way that third sounded driving home. So just talking to my buddy Matt, and he was like, man, if you want to pull that trans out tomorrow after work, I'll come over and help. And so I figured, the heck, might as well. Jack was at volleyball. So after work, he came over, went ahead and started dropping it out, probably about like 7:30 or so. And maybe 8 o'clock, by about 10, we had the thing dropped out and sitting here on my workbench. So definitely trans is shot. I don't think it's supposed to sound like that. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it's supposed to sound like that. So, luckily, I got another trans ordered today. I found one in North Carolina, and he said he'd probably need about 5 days to pull it. And it had 65,000 miles on it, so, that's not too bad. Getting it shipped here and hopefully start putting it in next week. We'll see. I'll probably go ahead and order a new throw out bearing, probably a couple bushings and everything on the trans for the shifter, probably a new seal on the shifter going into the trans. Yeah, not too bad. I did notice that being single turbo now, it is a little bit harder to get the trans out. Usually the bell housing bolts, they're not too bad to get out. The only ones that can be a pain is like this one up here for the starter and this one over here. But usually, especially before I was single turbo, I was able to kind of just tilt. Once I dropped the cross member, able to tilt it down and just get like a freaking 4-foot extension pretty much, and you get far enough back and nothing's in your way anymore. But sadly, with the way the turbo is, it's so close to the strut tower already that I'm not able to really tilt the engine back very far. So I almost thought I had to take this thing off just to be able to get that top bolt out, but I was able to break it loose and finally got it loose enough that I could start spinning it by hand. So we'll see how it goes putting it back in. I'm sure it's probably not going to be fun trying to get that thing back in, but we'll make it happen. So I appreciate you, Matt, for coming over and help. And I mean, that was a huge help. So it's definitely a pain sometimes trying to get a trans taken out or anything. Sometimes you're just in an awkward spot. You need somebody to hand you some tools or anything. So I definitely appreciate you giving me a hand. That was a huge help. So got this thing knocked out pretty quick, and hopefully we'll get the new trans back in here and get everything rocking and rolling, and hopefully not blow up any more transmissions. But I don't know, everybody kept asking like, how in the world did you blow up a 6-speed manual? But I don't know. It's kind of weird because the axle broke and the trans broke at the same time, which I find a little odd just because of the fact that I feel like if one of them broke, that the other shouldn't have really had that much pressure on it for both of them to break. But who knows what happened? It could just be a bearing inside of the trans potentially. So maybe it had a bad bearing this whole time. I did notice that the rattling at idle was a little loud, and it was hard to tell if it was from the dual mass. If it was from the twin disc clutch or not. So I know I had raised my idle up to about 900 or so to help get rid of some of the chatter, but who knows? Don't really matter now. It's blown up. So I think I'm gonna try and pull this thing apart. I don't know if there's any videos or manuals or anything on pulling it apart. I'm definitely very curious to see what it looks like inside. So who knows what I'll find in there. It could be bearings blown apart, could be a gear blown apart. Who knows? I'm definitely curious to see though. So hopefully be back up and running in short time, maybe 2 weeks or so. So just in time for the good weather. What's up, guys? So I'm pretty excited today. I got home from work and I got me a nice present on the driveway. Boom! Been waiting a long time for this bad boy right here. Got the maxjax car lift. So it's a mid-rise lift. I think the lifting height on it was like 48 inches. So it's not crazy high, but man, not having to work off jack stands will be freaking amazing. I can't even begin to explain. So you know, I had the advantage of working off of a lift for quite some time, and you know, then got stuck being in the freaking garage on jack stands. And anybody who's worked on European cars already knows that trying to jack up a freaking European car just never freaking works, because the jack points are always in the most awkward spot. There's never any good places on the subframe or anything to put jacks. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this thing. I'm gonna go ahead and start unboxing it and see what it's like, see what we can do about getting it set up. Not 100% sure how I'm gonna set it up. Inside of the garage, kind of sucks having two separate doors, so I haven't figured out. I'm either gonna put it on one side. Luckily, since the max jack rolls away, so what I might end up doing is maybe putting a set of anchors like here and here, and then maybe doing another set kind of at an angle. So I'll drive the car in kind of sideways and maybe do a set of anchors maybe like here and over here. That way I can have the car looking like this to give me more room if I'm doing like a full engine out or something like that. It'll give me a lot more space to work on. Downside is I won't be able to have two cars in here, so might end up doing two setups, but have to get everything brought in here, getting it unboxed, see what it looks like. And so yeah, it's a great way to stay in shape. For whatever reason, every time I'm on here, I'm always saying something. Oh yeah, so yeah, it's it's good. It's good to do this. Or yeah, it's a great way to do this. And every single time, Jackins should be watching the video and he's like, oh yeah, it's a great way to stay in shape. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the Family Guy episode, or you got the guy on the bike.
I'm here with Rides at 10 Speed Everywhere guy. Sir, why are you riding your 10 speed in the rain?
I don't mind. A little drizzle never hurt anybody. I like riding the 10 speed because it's fun, gives me energy, and it's a great way to stay in shape.
What do you do for a living?
I work in accounts receivable at Quahog Insurance. It's not too demanding, the pay is good, and it's a great way to stay in shape.
Well, we should wrap this up. You're getting wet.
Well, I'm living life before the cancer I have kills me, so I don't mind the rain. Water feels good on my skin. It's cool, refreshing, and it's a great way to stay in shape.
What kind of cancer?
It's rectal cancer. It's slowly eating away at my lower insides. It's a quick process, both painful and untreatable, and it's a great way to stay in shape.
So apparently that's me.
Oh boy!
Hell yeah! Not too bad. Could probably be used to be packaged a tiny bit better. Don't look like there's much protection on here, but hell yeah, it's gonna be exciting. If only it came with that Corvette, then maybe I'd make some real power. Alright, I lied. It does have some decent packing. They are sitting on some wood. It's sitting on wood and it's bolted down. So at least they can't go anywhere. They're not gonna be rocking around, but let's get this thing out of here. Loading these heavy freaking things up and get them on in there. Alright, so we got the car lift in the garage. Starting to get everything lined up. trying to figure out the best way to set this thing up. You know, there's not a whole lot of room, so we're gonna pull the car in kind of crooked and see if that gives us enough room to be able to work on it with the lift over here. Got my buddy Richard over here helping me out. Appreciate it, Richard. So, lining them up. Got the line laser. Makes it pretty easy to line them straight across. And now we just got to get them anchored down, and hopefully the floor's not too unlevel, since somebody I think was blind when they finished this concrete in here. Well, this freaking blows. So I was trying to put these anchors in, and this hole right here, the concrete was just barely not thick enough. So it ended up being, I think it was like 3 3/4, maybe 3.5 inches thick. It's supposed to be 4. So this one, it would almost bite. It was right there, and it just kept spinning. So I don't want to risk it. Definitely not gonna risk this one for the biscuit. But I think what I'll end up doing is saw cutting this concrete out right here, cut out like a 24 by 24 inch square. And then I'll drill some holes in the sides of the slab, put some epoxy in it, and put some rebar into it. And then dig this down a little bit deeper. I can probably go ahead and just give myself like 8 inches of concrete or something, and re-pour it, and then I'll be able to get a little bit flatter and know that I'll know that the concrete is the right strength. B, I'll know that it's thick enough, not have to worry about it being cracked or anything like that, and know that the car's not gonna, or the lift's not gonna rip out of the ground and kill me while I'm under it. So that's always a plus. Oh yeah. Almost completely done with this thing now. Got both posts leveled out. Used my sight level to go ahead and compare and make sure that each spot on the pads on all 4 were all level within each other. It was pretty good. It was about 1/8 of an inch. The far side over there was almost dead nuts front to back, and pretty much the same exact one as this one. This one was maybe like just over 1/8 of an inch off of the other 3. So all in all, not too bad. Still gotta fix these 2 anchors right here. I think I found some epoxy anchors that are gonna work. So the concrete ended up being super freaking thick pretty much everywhere else. Thick enough to where I couldn't even drill through it all the way with the drill bit that I had. So I think it was either I think it was an 8-inch drill bit. So I know I got more than 8 inches everywhere else. So I'm gonna talk with the Hilti rep from work tomorrow and see what we can do about those ones right there. I know maxjax sells some epoxy anchors as well. So I just want to verify and make sure, I think I'm like right at 4 inches of concrete right there. So we'll see what I can make work. I'd prefer to, be able to fix it without cutting the concrete up. But at the same time, I definitely don't want to end up half-assing it and having fatal consequences. So. We got the rebar set in place, got the holes drilled, epoxied in, rebar all tie wired together. So now we'll go ahead, and the rebar ended up being good enough. I'm not going to need to use the little concrete wire over there. So we'll get the concrete mixed up and pour it back in here, and hopefully let it cure and get this thing anchored back down. Hopefully actually use the lift for the transmission.
Mixing up the concrete. Wow.
Alright, that was a good ass guess.
Okay. How do they get it so smooth?
Smooth?
Yeah.
You gotta come back to it after it sits. So this will sit, and you'll start seeing water like come to the top, and then you come back again with a trowel and go over and smooth it out. Alright, so I got this poured back. Got Posse's footprint. So, went ahead. This spot was so unlevel. So, you can see the freaking lip right there. I wanted to go ahead and just make this spot level. And I think what I'm doing is coming back in here after it dries with like a grinder. And get this kind of a little bit more of a gradual rise right there, but I want to make sure I have enough room to set the post on there without really having to shim it too much, because before it was pretty bad, you can see. So hey, looky there. Hell yeah.
Move them rafters up a little bit, you can get 4 cars in there.